Hello again. Welcome to Renaissance Knowing Your True Self. The last two videos I had posted was about the book that I'm reading, which is called The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. This book had changed my life 2 years ago when I was in between jobs, and something told me to go back and reread the book again. And obviously you just get more insight, and things always hit differently a second time around based on the journey that you're on. So what I talked about the last video specifically was the first chapter that was called You Need No Title to Be a Leader. And then this week I spent time on the second chapter, which is Turbulent Times Build Great Leaders. So I'm going to do a kind of a quick little sort of a recap of the first chapter, and then just going into the and then speak more about the second chapter. So if you remember, in the first chapter I had talked about where it's coming in with an attitude to work. It's coming in with wanting to be the best that you can be, instead of approaching your job as just a job that it's got nothing. It's just something that helps pay the bills or etc. There are passions outside of work, and by all means, everybody, if you have passions or there's things that you want to go after, by all means go after it, but do not neglect what you're doing at that moment. It calls for us to be present and to be the best in whatever situation that we're in. So we're in a job, we give our best, we do our best, we bring a great attitude, and those are things that usually will never go unchecked. And when I started to apply that, I did notice a difference with not just me being happier at work, but also seeing the attitude of others towards me. Yeah, granted, you're going to have some crazy microaggressive statements, behaviors. You can have all of that depending, but you can still be bold, you can still be candid, and you could still be yourself, and just at the end of the day, just do the best job that you can. And also, when you tap into yourself to do the best job, that's when also you get to be more closer to your true self. So it's just being innovative, coming up with ideas, looking at how you can contribute and how you can make a difference in that day, right? What have I accomplished today at my work? We talk about goals, about if you're looking at your own business, to have about that, your personal life, etc. Why not have the same attitude towards your work, right? Whether you're there temporary, whether you're there permanent, whatever. But the thing is, what you do in one place, you're going to do that everywhere else, right? So that definitely, and like I said, I speak from experience on this thing, so I know it changed my life. So I'm going to move on to the next one, which is the second chapter. Turbulent times build great leaders. So with my personality type, I do like being uncomfortable. So it actually comes naturally to me. But that being said, something happens or something I feel like is going out of my control and I'm scared, I do tend to get anxious. I start to overthink, and I start to think that I'm going to be a failure or something's going to fall apart and that's it, and I won't be able to survive that. But in truth, it's not really all that case. We're so programmed to think and to think of what can go wrong as opposed to thinking of what can go right. So the second chapter talks about, we want adversity, we want things to go wrong, we want change. This specifically talks about change. If we try to resist change and hope it all goes away, guess what? It's going to backfire on us. He talks about businesses changing, things like that. So just anything that happens, right? You embrace that change, and then you move forward. Now, what are the good things that happens when you embrace change? What are the things that happen when you lean in towards discomfort and just embrace it? What's going to happen is, at that point, you actually see what you're really made out of. It actually brings you to a more of an awareness of your own true self. My message is always about knowing your true self. Hard times get you to know who you really are. anyone can do wonderful if things are going great, right? But it's through adversity, it's through change, it's through discomfort, anything that just is that is scary. Those are actually, if you go back later and you look back hindsight, right, you start to think about it like, wait a second, that was okay. I see how I changed. I'll give you an example. I got laid off twice in my career. I was in a company for how many years? I started my career there and I had been there for 12 years, 12, 13 years, I believe. Got laid off, right? Went to another company. I didn't like it. Then I went back to the third company. I worked there for 2 years. I got laid off again, and I thought, oh my great, this is the end of the world. But through that, that's where the discovery of this book happened. The second time I got laid off, that's where the discovery of this book happened. I read it. It changed my mind. It made me approach things differently. And that's how I got like my next job. And then from there, I got into another even better job. And right now where I'm at in my career, I am so happy. Like I see a lot of potential for growth, but I come in every day bringing my A game. I've only been there for a year and the feedback that I'm getting. And I'm not saying I'm doing that for the feedback, because if I stay in the same sort of a situation, do the same thing, I do get bored. I love being challenged. So I welcome challenges. And because of that, it's scary. I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm like sweating and I'm like, great, I think I'm going to just, this is it for me. No. And actually, I learned that I have to go through the chaos to learn and come out the other end with, wow, that was wonderful. So, but it is scary, and I'll admit it is scary. And a lot of people would say that too. So, but those are the times we have to get comfortable. Sometimes this might be taking small steps, and before you get into bigger things. But the thing is to try to do something different every day, or every time, take on new projects, whatever, that will actually get you to grow, get you to see who you really are, and get you to hone your skills too. I was just saying, just saying that, if everything is going well, everyone can do well if everything's going well. The real test is when things go wrong. What at that point is a real test of character. So that is what I wanted to kind of talk about that. So there's a few things in there, like, and this one I need to get better at: respond versus react. So something happens out of like, for example, when that time came, but both times when I got laid off, all I did was sit there and cry. But it took me a while to get to, okay, now I need to be able to so maybe that was a time that I had to process what was happening. But then instead of just reacting and trying to do whatever, I had to get myself together, figure out a game plan, and then start moving from there. So it's kind of like more of, now I want to respond to the situation and see what I can do to get there. Speaking with candor. Be truthful to people, whether it be your colleagues, be truthful with your clients, whatever. But the point is that you're not trying to show this fake sort of an attitude. Everybody goes through change, but if you're honest and you speak truthfully, people actually will listen to you, as opposed to just trying to sugarcoat everything. Prioritizing. So in the sense that there's a lot of stuff going on, what is the one thing that I can focus on? Stay focused on that. And I love this one: adversity breeds opportunity, which is true. Things have to go wrong. And instead of seeing what can go wrong, that's where we can actually see solutions. Somewhere I read, I don't know if you can quote me on this, but you have to see the solution. Every problem has opportunities. You have to see the solution, right? Instead of seeing the problems, because that's where your creativity comes out, things like that, right? So there's a lot of opportunity for that. And I like what he also mentioned about kudos for everybody, in the sense, give everybody credit. People love to be validated. Give people credit for what they're doing and what they're bringing to the table. And that motivates them, and it motivates them, it gives them confidence, and it helps them also to grow and contribute more. So those are the few things that I wanted to talk about there. And again, maybe you've heard this many times, but this chapter really, really drove it home. You keep moving forward, you keep moving, you lean in to the discomfort. That seems to be my theme as I'm speaking about this. Lean into discomfort. So turbulent times build great leaders. That's all for today, and I will get into the next chapter next weekend, and we'll talk about that then. In the meantime, have a great week. And also don't forget to share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye.